everybody, this is Matthew Movies coming at you with my review of Up, the 2009 Pixar film that I think is an amazing experience. I remember seeing the trailers for this back in the day, and just the only thing I knew coming out of those was that it was a guy who puts a bunch of balloons over his house and he kind of takes off, and that it was a Pixar film, and I knew I wanted to see it based on those things alone. But beyond that, I knew nothing about the story going in the first time I saw it, which because I like to try to avoid spoilers as much as I can. And when I actually experienced this movie and saw like where the tale took you and all that, I was just blown away. I mean, this is such a unique and creative film. It's a fascinating flick for me. I think it was so well done, and I mean, the emotional notes it hits just blow me away. I love this movie, and I mean, right off the hop, when I think about this movie, the biggest thing that comes to my mind right away is the opening sequence where you meet a young Carl Fredricksen and this little girl that he's meeting, and at first they have this kind of back and forth relationship where, you know, he doesn't really know what to think of her, and then over the next 10 minutes or however long this sequence takes place, you find out that, you know, she ends up being the love of his life, and that they get married and they have a full life together, but they make all these big plans that they never actually make come to fruition, or at least a lot of them they don't. And then you are there when he loses her, and I mean, it's just such a punch to the stomach. I remember watching this in the theater being like, man, I was not prepared for that at all. I mean, well enough, the whole nine. I mean, it's just such a the sequence just blows me away and really speaks to Pixar's ability to tell a tale without, you know, going into too much detail, and in a lot of cases like having almost no dialogue, because obviously you get to have the scene with Carl and Ellie where they're kind of talking at the beginning, but then once they start going into the montage of their life, there's no dialogue. It's just all through, you know, the things that are happening to them and the expressions on their face, and the fact that they're so adept at telling stories without any dialogue. I mean, it's just such an impressive aspect of this film. And then you get into like the main part of it, and like I said before, obviously the movie, the balloons go up, he goes off on this adventure with this kid that he had never met before, and where this story goes just absolutely blows me away. I mean, Carl, the main character, he's I think he's one of the most interesting characters in the history of animated films. I mean, where he's this old curmudgeonly guy who's, you know, got so much anger, and he's prone to being very sarcastic and just, you know, throwing out dismissive lines to everybody. He wants to be kind of left to his own devices, but once you get to his core, he is this like sweetheart of a guy. He is very caring. He's, you know, just such a beautiful character, and I think, you know, it's really, really cool because I think there's a lot of comparisons to a lot of older people who feel like they're kind of abandoned, and they put up this kind of angry facade, but at their core they just want to have a relationship to care about. And you know, my mother, I've never really gone into this, my mother has worked in nursing homes my entire life, and I have heard stories from her forever about like the connections that she makes with these people, and a lot of time how there are other people who work there who they only show anger to, but because of the type of person my mom is, they get these relationships going. So I found that aspect of this film to be extremely realistic and well handled. And like I said before, you get introduced to a kid that he wasn't aware was on this adventure with him, this little basically Boy Scout style character named Russell, and he's just such a lovable little dude. I mean, the way that he tries to build this connection with Carl, I mean, it's just so great. And I remember watching this movie for the first time halfway through being like, man, where do his parents think he is? Is it because, man, that they must be freaking out? But you know, if you put all that stuff aside, I mean, his involvement in this movie, it just really ups the ante and makes this movie so much better. And the connection that they build between the two, especially when at first, you know, Carl wants nothing to do with Russell, I mean, so well handled. And of course, there's the animal creatures. I mean, Doug, right off the hop, the dog who they get introduced to, who has this like mechanical thing around his neck that allows him to talk. I mean, the whole squirrel thing is just absolutely hysterical. I mean, it's just such a great personification of the loving nature of dogs, and just the simple nature of dogs as well, where like, you know, they're not pondering the big thoughts of life or whatever. They just want to have enjoy their experience and have affection from the creatures around them that they care for. I mean, so well handled. And then when you get introduced to like the other dogs that are, you know, are little mean jerks that treat him so poorly, it makes you really love that character so much more. And I mean, the whole aspect of all the other dogs, I mean, even though a lot of them are kind of jerks, you understand that they are just dogs and they've been trained to act that way as well. I mean, it's it's just so well handled, and like the battle between all the, I mean, it's just the places this film goes just blow me away. And of course the bird creature that they keep have following them. I mean, it's so vibrant and entertaining, and just adds a lot to the film as well. And it's funny because Doug is so simple, but the bird creature is even more simple, and it just speaks to like the relationship between man and animal. I thought that was all great. And then of course you have the antagonist of the film, Charles F. Munson, and when at the beginning you're introduced to the concept of him, and he seems like he's going to be the hero, and when he finally comes around, and he's played by Christopher Plummer of all people, a guy who over the years you come to see as this lovable actor as well. I mean, the way the whole thing was set up, where you think you're gonna just adore this character, and then where it goes. I mean, like I said before, I mean, I absolutely adore the storytelling of this movie. I thought it was so well done. I mean, at the end of the day, if I'm pushed to pick my favorite Pixar movie, this is absolutely going to be in the running. If I was going to give it a score out of 10, I'd probably give it like a 9. I really don't think that there's much to quibble over with this movie. It's an entertaining ride, and one I can't wait to show my daughter when she gets a little bit older and is able to kind of understand it more, because right now when I want to show her anime movies, it's much more about the songs and that kind of stuff. But I really look forward to when she's old enough to kind of get this movie. It'll be a lot of fun to watch it with her. So those are my thoughts on Up. Let me know in the comment section below what you think. If you feel like it's one of the better Pixar movies, if you were astonished by where it went, your feelings on that opening sequence, whatever. Other than that, please hit that like button, hit the share button. It makes it much more likely that other people will come check out this review and let me know what they think, which would be awesome, because I love talking to people about movies. And speaking of which, if you are new here or you just haven't done it yet, please hit subscribe, hit that notification bell. That way you can find out when I put out a new video, and come check it out, give me that feedback, and we can have that back and forth. It'd be absolutely awesome. Aside from all that though, have yourself a good day.